Hi, Solomon.
Hey Kate, sasa
Solomon, thanks. Nimeona response.
oh, aya sawa sawa.
Hello, everyone. Uh, Hi, Solomon and Catherine.
Hello.
Okay.
Hey, Leon.
Hi.
Good.
Yeah, sorry I'm a bit late. So, Cynthia, hope you're good. And Hannah. So, just a quick one. Hannah, were you supposed to be? Are you the one who requested? I know we have never met. So, just before we go on, are you the one who is joining us today in relation to Power BI?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So you're supposed to be in the physical class, right?
No, I'm supposed to be in this online class.
Okay. So for the rest of us, we began by looking at Tableau. We installed Tableau. Hopefully, you had time to do your own practice in relation to the same tool. As I told you, we shall be looking Tableau and Power BI concurrently. So I know we have 14 days trial for Tableau. Okay. But I want you also to install Power BI as we look at a few things. So Hannah, you can just introduce yourself so that the rest of us know you. So you can tell us who you are, probably what field you're coming from.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hannah Nyambura. I graduated last year. I did mathematics and computer science.
Okay. So we can just install Power BI. I know we had some content we were looking at in relation to Tableau. But now, the reason why we are shifting, it's better I tell all of us so that we know, because I had already told you that after Tableau, it's when we are shifting to Power BI. But it's because Anna needs a really, really urgent need in relation to Power BI. I think she has something in relation to her job. That is what I was told. So probably if I'm wrong, you can let us know. And she needs to know a few concepts in relation to Power BI. So I thought it was better for us now. Or let's begin Power BI today. Okay, handle the same content or maybe something different with Power BI. And then after that, we shall come back to Tableau. So we shall finish with Tableau. So we shall do the reverse. Okay. So hopefully no one is offended by that. So hopefully no one feel offended. Okay, so we can just download Tableau Power BI very fast, so that we begin by now the introduction of Power BI, and I'll tell you, and you'll realize that there is some similarities between Power BI and Tableau. It's just that they have organized their interface differently, and also probably the steps they take doing processes, it's a bit different. Okay, so we shall just do the same the way we did in Power BI. So you just do the same. Anyone who has started downloading?
Pardon?
I've shared a link of Power BI on the chat box, so you can begin downloading for free. No, I've not shared. Okay, it's only shared now. My download. Yeah, it's 14 days.
Hello, Leon.
Yes.
Is it supposed to be Power BI desktop?
Yeah, just do Power BI desktop. So once anyone who has started downloading? For me, I already have it, so I've been having it for a while. So I need to hear from you guys. It's okay. Thank you, Catherine. Cynthia, has it begun downloading?
Yes, it has.
Okay. Solomon?
Yeah, it's on that process.
Okay. Anna?
Yes, it's downloading.
Okay. Okay. In the meantime, I think we can do a few things with the. As you're waiting for this Tableau thing to download, because I know Imambe Kumbe, it's a bit heavy, so it's a bit 600 and something MB. Yeah, 600 and something MB. So it might take us a while. So I think we can do something in in Tableau. So for Anna, I'm sharing my some data source that we used in. I'm trying to retrieve it, and I think I can't find it. So I'm sharing some data source that I shared earlier. So you can download that also because we'll be using that in. So there you have it. Now, so you can also download Tableau, but now because we don't want to waste a lot of time, the same thing we'll do in Tableau, it's the same thing we're going to do in Power BI. And I know for some of us, because our internet it's a bit slow, it means that it will take like 30 minutes or so. So what we can do to save on the time that we have, we can just work with Tableau for now as we wait. And then as the moment it finishes, we can go back to it. So we spoke about this in extensive, how this works, how we connect to different data sources, how we do some quick uploads of data. Okay, so we saw how to connect to different files, how to connect to different databases, and the same thing that works in Tableau is the same thing that works in Power BI. So the first thing, the moment you have data, you need to connect to it, and that is the most important thing. So we'll work with the customer compliance. We'll work with the customer compliant. Okay. I know this is where we were. So probably mine was shut down because I was using Tableau Public. So that is why I cannot save my work. If I need to save, I'll have to save it online. So I didn't save it. the last time we were working with it. So today I want us to begin by speaking about different types of data connection. Okay, and we have two types of data connection when it comes to Tableau. So we have something called a live data connection and an extract. Okay, so those are the two types of data connections when it comes to Tableau, whereby I don't think if there is this in Power BI, because in Power BI you connect directly to your data source and you work with it directly from there. But now we have something called a live connection. And number two, we have something called a data extract. Okay. Now for a live connection, it's like what we are doing right now. We are streaming in between. We are streaming. So it means we are having a live class. But also in this live class, there is a recording that is taking place. Meaning that this recording is for someone who might probably need this class in future. Okay? So the same way it's how Tableau works. So just as we go on, once your download has been completed, just type on the chat that yours is done. Okay, so once you're done, just type on the chat, but also you can remember to install. It's just the installation process is just normal process.
Hello,
Nothing.
Leon,
Yes.
your voice is breaking, so I can't hear you correctly.
Oh, I think it's because of your internet. Because the internet it's being channeled heavily towards the downloads. So that is why I think there is some latency. Am the rest? Am it's occurring to all of us? Then if it's to all of us, then it's on my side.
I'm okay.
Okay. So I think Solomon, it's because of the download. Because this whatever we're downloading, it's a bit heavy. So that is why. Okay. So for Hannah, for this part, just watch. Okay. For this part, just watch. Because I can't begin from where we left, or maybe the beginning of the class, but we'll just catch up. So don't feel like I've left you behind. It's just that I don't want us to waste a lot of time in downloading. So I wish I was in class a bit earlier.
Okay.
Yeah. So saying that there are two types of data connection. So the first one, it is the live connection, and the second one, it is the extract. Okay. So that is how you work with Tableau. So you either connect to your data source directly using a live connection, or you connect to your data source using an extract. Now, an extract means that that data source is being copied to a Tableau server, something like that. I don't know if it makes sense, whereby you have your original source. Okay, you have your original source of data. But now, because you don't want to work with a master record, just the way we were speaking about master records, now Catherine alitusaidia to understand how master records work. So just as you work with master records, you don't work with master records directly. Okay? You always have to do a backup for it, because anything you do in the master record, it's permanent. So instead, you have a backup. Okay? And now that backup can be done using a Tableau. So you do a backup in the Tableau space. Then after that, it's now you connect to that data with that extract. So the extract is like the middleman in between your live records and your Tableau. So you do an extract in between. An example is whatever we have done already here. So when you connect to your data source, like for me here, okay, it is a one-to-one. There is no middleman in between. Okay, because I just went and I said, Microsoft connect to this data source. I think I can use a different one. Let me use the retail sales. And I say open. So when I say that, already Tableau is connecting with that directly. One-to-one. Okay? But there is a way in which you can do extracts in Tableau. So sitaki kutumia hiyo but imekuja already. So I think, yeah, I think I'll just delete this. Close. Okay. Okay, so those are the two types of data connection. You either connect using an extract or you connect with using a live. Now we'll begin with a live. Live, we have been working with it, and then as we go on, we shall learn how to connect using extract with a different data source. So, but now in between here, there are also a few things that you need to know: the pages and the filter. Okay. Now in the filter, we can work with let's work with products, this one. So I want you to drag products into the filter. Okay, so when you drag products into the filter, it will create for you a pop-up. So it will create for you a pop-up. I think this one I just do it alafu so that to save, because I know you are heavily working with Power BI. So I think let me teach this class as a tutorial. So I teach this class as a tutorial, then we shall revisit again. Okay, we shall revisit because this is still the basics in visualization and loading your data. So I think we shall redo it again. So there is something here called the filter. Now on Friday, I taught you I told you how you load your data in Tableau. And I said that you can either load your data in the product section or in this row section, based on how you want it to appear. Okay? So you can load anyhow. But now when you load in the column, it means that your dimensions, okay? Anything you see in blue, it's called dimensions. And anything you see in green, it's called measures. Okay? So we always measure dimension against a measure, or many dimension against measures. So anything you see in green, in blue, you can't say dimension against another dimension. So in Tableau, we work with two things. Even in Power BI, we work with two things. We either work with dimensions and measures. Okay? So measures, as I've said, it's something you do against. Okay? So for the measures, for the dimensions, you can either do on the column or the row. This way. Okay? So that is how you load your data. Now, when I put here products, I'm telling it in other words, show me in a table everything that I have inside this dimension. What is running behind? We know we have learned about SQL. It is select all from products. I'ma select products from this table. So it's going to select that specific column. So I'll be also reminding you about the SQL we might have learned. Okay. So that is how you load. Then you load the measures. And for this, we said that Tableau, it's a bit intelligent in the sense that it tries to give you, to categorize dimensions separate from measures, and also give you additional measures in terms of count. Okay? As you can see here, the measures, the measure value, we didn't have in this table. Okay, kwa hii table yetu customer compliant, we didn't have anything like the measure value. We didn't have anything like count. Sindio? We didn't have anything like sheet 1 count. But we have the latitude and the longitude. By the even we didn't have. I don't think we have. We don't have even the latitude and the longitude. Okay, so where are these values coming from? So I've said that once your Power BI ikimaliza kudownload, niambie hapa so that you begin now speaking about Power BI. So this is just like by the way class. Okay, so once your Power BI is complete, just type on the chat so that we can shift there. We install and you have a look at it. Okay, so I was telling you that these values measures, it's generated by Tableau. Now, what happens? Where are we getting the latitude and the longitude? If you look at here, there is this sheet of state. Ndio? Acha nitumie hii nini, this metadata. Let me use this metadata. So when you look at this, there is this sheet called state. Now, if you look at that data, state was in abbreviation. Sindio? Sijui kama tunakumbuka ama sijui kama tuliangalia data. If you look at this data, state is in abbreviation. TX, sindio? FL. So state ni like NAI, okay? You see how Kenya has counties and you can abbreviate them in short form. It's the same way this data, our data source is. Okay, whereby every single state is abbreviated in a short form. So Tableau, behind Tableau, the fact that we have state, and it can be seen that here, I told you that anything that has a word, it gives it a data type. Now these are geographical points by default, okay? So when I look at this metadata, I'm able to see that state is a geographical point. I can change it to a string, I can change it to a Boolean, okay? But now, by default, it gives it a data type. So when I look at this, it goes behind and checks what is the geographical location, ama the geographical coordinate for Texas, because we are dealing with the USA. What is the geographical code for Nevada? Okay, that is why you can be able to see that in this section, now it's loading. In this section, we have the latitude and the longitude. Now this is doing an extract, a live connection. So that is the problem with it, okay? So we shall repeat whatever I've said, so don't worry. So when we come back to Tableau, it's just that I had to do something before we wait, as we wait for our downloads to complete. So whatever it was doing a live connection to my data source. The moment here I said update now, the moment I said update now, it's going to that data source to check if there is any updates made on that PDF. Okay, so that is my master record. So the moment I say update, it means that I've made changes to my master record and I want to make that change in Tableau. Okay, it's just like doing a Word document without saving. So the moment you save, it loads. Okay, yeah. So that is where now we get the latitude and the longitude. The count is so that we are working with at least 500,000 records, half a million. Okay, so it means that it is performing count based on what you tell it to count. You see, these measured values, it is based on the dimension. So we have a dimension here called product. We have a dimension called product. Now, if you load a measure against a dimension, it means it will go and check. For these products I have credit card, how many do I have? Okay, so that is what happens. So that is why if I load now the measure values, it comes to the count of sheet 1. Sawa. Now, pardon? Okay, now there is also a trick here. If I begin by loading my dimension into Tableau, if I begin by loading my product into Tableau, unless you're doing state, because if you do state, it will give you a map. If I begin by loading my dimension into Tableau, what happens? It will create for me a table. Okay? But if I begin by loading a measure, it will create for me a chart. Okay? So always know what you want, because I'll be telling you load this data. So don't begin by loading a measure value. Begin by loading a dimension. So if I have that, that is how you get quickly a bar chart. You see, I haven't done anything special. It is just the order in which I loaded my data. It's what made me give me a visualization. Yes, it is the product against the count. How many products do I have in relation to mortgages? Or how many orders were brought in the mortgages? Yeah. Now, anytime I load a measure, chenye inakuja, it brings an automatic, it's automatic mark. So remember, we haven't even finished the filter. Okay, I was still, we are going to the filter, then the marks, so that we see the difference. So when you load the measures as the first thing, inakuleta chart. Okay, now when you add now a dimension, ndio sasa inakuja hizo chart mingi. Now it is Tableau yenyewe ndio itachagulia chart. So if I wanted a line chart here, itakuja angalie this data, how best can I represent it as a chart? Okay, that is how it settles on a bar chart, because you have not given it any constraints. Yeah. So now, how does filter work? So we have seen if I load everything inakuja hapo, but if I just do now a filter on product, let me load my product hapa kwa filter. There is a pop-up showing Now it's showing the list of all products that I have. Sawa. So here I can select which one I want to visualize. Okay? So kwanza nimeload product. Sindio? But haijaniletea anything. What it has done, it has run an SQL statement huko nyuma na imesema select all from this where this and this and this and this is. Okay? So if I load now my product on the row, what happens? Haitaniletea the list of all products. It will only give me the products that I had in the filter. Okay? Now in the filter I had customer loans, credit card, and other financial service. Hiyo ndio itaniletea. Let me clean that again. I load product, itaniletea everything. Sindio? But now if I do a filter on product and I select a few, first of all, it will not show me here. It will not display here because I didn't load my product either on the row or columns. So I only loaded it in the filter, telling it that anything that comes in form of product, ensure it's only in these three categories. That is why if I now load the product, it only gives me 3. Okay? But still I can do my filter. I can add a few things and I apply. It will add the mortgages. So if I do the filter now in this section, if I add the bank account or service and I apply, it will add. So that is how now the filter works. Now we shall be using filtering extensively. So that is why I needed to mention it a bit earlier so that we can see how it works, though we shall revisit this entire class. So as we go on, Dr. Catherine, I know 3 doctors who are Catherine. So
Leon, let me ask a question.
Yes. Yes, Solomon, go ahead before
Now, assuming maybe now I want to. Yes, so assuming now I want to input maybe my measure values, is it possible, or maybe the Tableau will always give me what is in the system?
Pardon?
I'm asking, can I do maybe my measure values maybe not by default, but I generate it myself?
Your measure values, yes, you can generate your measure values yourself. Remember I told you, you can change anything here to a measure. Sawa.
Okay.
So I can change this compliant ID into a measure. Takuja toka kwa compliant ID, though it's a bit not where we are supposed to be, but I can show you. You can right click on the compliant ID na ukuja useme convert to measure. Mona, imetoka hapa kwa the discrete format, which is the dimension, na imekuja kwa continuous state, which is the measure. Okay, so by that I've converted my compliant ID into a measure. I can even convert it into a dimension. But now, hizi zenye Tableau imenigenerate here, I can't change this into a dimension. Okay, I can't change measure values into a dimension because it is not something I have control over. It was something that was generated by them. So I don't have control over it. But now anything that I have control over, which are the columns that I passed in Tableau, any column that you passed in Tableau, you have control over it. So that is why I can change even product into a measure. Na nikuwe na count of all product. Haiwezi kwa measure, haiwezi kuja kama string. It can never be a string. Okay? In the measure section, we don't work with strings. It will give you a count. If it is a string, it converts it into a count. So that is why if now I load products, utaona imeniletea moja moja hapa. So I have one, because it did a count of the products the moment it changed into a measure value. So I hope that answers your question. So Catherine.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, William.
So any question from you?
Not a question, but probably to beef up your line of thought in terms of the measures. You can also create your own calculated measures. Like probably if you're working with sales data, so and you need to calculate certain elements that are not there.
Yes.
Probably like profitability ratio, or in finance, you're looking at liquidity ratio, such things. So you can calculate it and it comes into the measure area. So that's another thing that probably, Solomon, you can think about in terms of if you're adding something and if you're putting your own measures to it.
Yeah, true. And we're going to do that. We're going to do that.
Thank you.
We are going to generate our own data based on whatever we have. We are going to do some calculations. We are going to write some Python scripts. Okay. So it is not just based on whatever we have loaded in Tableau, but now we can use whatever we have loaded into Tableau to do our own manipulations around. Okay. But now I just wanted us to be familiar with a few areas which are the key points when it comes to working with Tableau. So thank you, Catherine. So, Cynthia. Have you finished downloading Power BI? Yeah, okay. So Solomon, yours, Elisha, Hama. Okay, thank you, Catherine.
Bado internet speed yangu iko chini.
Okay. So Catherine, have you downloaded? Have you installed? I mean.
No, because it's just finished like a second ago.
Okay. So it's a bit heavy compared to Tableau. The reason being, Tableau, they try to split the application into several phases. Okay. That is why you can see that we have several versions of Tableau as compared to Power BI. Okay. But now the same things we are doing in Power BI or in Tableau, we shall see how it's a bit just different based on the interface. So Hannah, has yours finished?
Not yet.
Wow. Kumbe ilikuwa hivyo a bit heavy. So has finished installing. Okay. Okay. So let's have a look at this thing marks here now. Okay, marks are very significant when it comes to now putting your data into now the grammatical way or things like that. Because if you look at these marks here, we have several types of marks. We have maps, we have text, we have shapes, several of them. Okay, so any chart that you want to visualize, if I use what name can I load? I can load state, I think. No, this is not showing any trend anyway. It's not showing any trend, so it doesn't make any sense me using that. I need a trend, Nasif Kirim.
Why don't you use the coffee shop or the retail sales Excel file?
The coffee shop?
Or the retail something sales file. I think it has more data inside.
Okay.
That can be played around with.
Yeah, because this one was just, I always use this data source for connection and also to perform extracts. So coffee shop. Does it have any good amount of data? Okay, let's see.
Okay, I can't remember. There's one I've been playing around with over the weekend, so I'm trying to open figure it out. It's which one, or at least it has more data within. I'll confirm.
Let's see, coffee shop. So coffee shop, it's in CSV format. Oh, it's in Excel. It's in Excel. Now for coffee shop, it has three tables. It has three tables inside. So when you look at it, it has fact table, location, and product. Okay, so you can begin by loading any. So let's quickly learn about. So for this case, I have one table here, okay, which is the product table. So I have this product table, and now I can join it to a different table, which is the location. Okay, but now remember when we are doing SQL, we say that you can only have a relationship only if you agree on one common factor. And that is why we had the primary keys and the foreign keys. We had the primary keys and the foreign keys. So if I have these two tables, I need to know at which point they need to interact. So for this case, I've loaded the product table. I can come and load the fact table. The reason being, the product table and the fact table have one thing in common, which is the product ID. Okay, if you look at that data source, if you just open it in Excel, data source yangu iko wapi? And you go to that coffee shop something, you'll realize that we have 3 sheets. Okay, but now if you look at the fact table, I don't know what that table means, and the product table, they created a table to hold all products and a table to hold all facts. So I don't know if facts table means orders or something. Okay, so they were trying to see the margins of the sales and the profits they make, so it was just giving them accuracy. Okay, so it means that there is a relationship between the fact table and the product table, and they only relate based on a product ID. That is why here in the relationship, it's automatically giving me that I have a relationship between the product ID inside the product table, and in the fact table, I have a relationship. I have a product ID in the fact table. So I can't say that I have a relationship between product ID and marketing. Okay, because in the back of it, it's going to map those elements together, or map those products and facts together. Let's have a look at this. Let me remove this fact table. Here, I have only 13 records inside the product table. But now, we want to know how many inventories were there. Hopefully, you had a look at that data. Although today it's a bit unorganized class. So, okay. So I'm waiting for the rest of you. So Catherine, I know you've already installed, right? So also Collins has installed. So I'm waiting for the rest of you so that we can have a test of whatever we are speaking in Tableau and also whatever we are speaking about in Excel. And I want to ask you a question. Is it okay if we have a class every single day? Some of you, we wind up on this visualization. We make sure by next week we have already known concepts about Tableau and Power BI, because 3 days in a week, it's a bit... Before I go on, is it okay? Our in-house arrangements. So I don't know if that's okay with you. We have classes from 6 to 7. So Anna, is it okay with you?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. We can begin a bit late.
I'm also okay with that.
Okay. Si lazima tuanze exactly at 5. Sawa. Online. Okay. So it means that we learn more. We learn more. 3 days in a week, I always feel it's a bit little. And we also have time constraints to finish this. So If I do a join, I can't do a join between a product and a location. Okay, because if I look at my table for locations, I have area code, I have market size and state. There is nothing that is in both the product table and the locations table. That is why it's telling me select matching fields to create this relationship. So these are just the fundamental things you need to know. So that if I load my data source and it is in several tables, like an example we said when we were doing the school DB in SQL, we had the student table and we had the marks table. Sindio? Marks for, and we also had the subject table. So we have 3 different tables in this scenario: student, subject, and also we have a marks table. How do I make all these tables sync into one table so that I can use that data as once? Because remember, I told you, you can do a join in 17 tables, 30 tables, and get a single row out of them. Okay? So that is the same case here. If you go to a work environment, you'll realize that in most cases, employees, even when you fill an employee sheet, all those records are never in one sheet. Even they have different titles, okay? General information, previous work history, next of kin. You see, there are different titles, meaning that they're stored, when it comes to a database perspective, they're stored in different tables. So it means that you need a way in which you can relate all these records into one individual. And that is how we do relationships. And I think we spoke about this extensively in our SQL class. So if you find yourself in this scenario, it means that these tables are not related. And where there is no relationship, it means you can't get records out of them. So what does that imply? So it implies that these 2 tables are parent tables. Sindio? If they are not related, it means there is no child here. So you spoke about parent and child. There is no child table here. So all of them are parent tables. And you can't relate a parent to a different parent table. No, you need a relationship between a parent and a child. Now in this case, it means that we have, if I load the products, let me just remove the location. If I load the products and I load the fact table, I have now a relationship. Okay? Because product is the parent and the child is the fact table. That is why if I look at these records, now I have more than 1,000 records. Where did they come from? Okay? So that is how you load products from different tables. I don't know if now there is a relationship between our fact table and location, or maybe now the relation that we have here and location. So let's try that. And now there is a relationship. So product, fact table, and location, now they have a relationship. Only because there is a relationship between product and fact table in product ID. Okay? There is a relationship between fact table and location in area code. So it means that you have 2 parent tables that are only related because of the fact table. So. Now by that, now I can be able to access all my tables inside one view. So if I click on sheet 3, I can be able to see I have the fact table here. Now the fact table has dimensions and has measures. Okay. I have the location table here, and the location table has only one measure. Okay, now this is why now this table is called a child table, because inside a child table, it's where now you find all the measures that you can ever imagine. You don't store dimension inside the child table. That is why we have all these, the sales, profit margins, and all that. We have them here. Okay. Now, any question up to there before I now visualize things? Before we visualize anything here, anything about now these joints that I've done here? Okay, so let me speak about something else before I just visualize. How many relationships? I don't know if we did relationships in SQL, but how many relationships can you ever say are in SQL? So Solomon, any relationships you know? Cynthia, you can use the chat. I know you are there. Probably I don't know why you're not speaking today. Catherine, I know this one you are not in class, but you might have researched on. So how many relationships do you think, or tell me one of the relationships you think of?
I have forgotten.
Okay. Solomon, any relationship?
Maybe I can have a try, but I'm not sure.
Yes. Just have that try.
So I think you can do so you can do pardon?
Okay, just go ahead.
Okay, I was saying that maybe I can have a guess. You can do a relationship between one thing and the other. Maybe we can call it one to one. Then maybe you can do a relation between one and maybe many, and also you can also do maybe a many to many relationship is if there is something like that.
Yeah, that is true. So you got it. So there are three types of relationships, but there are, in normal cases, there are four types of relationship. So let me remind ourselves on this. So there is a one-to-one relationship where you say that one record inside a parent table is related to another one record inside the child parent table. Okay, one-to-one. An example is this. I can only be related to one set of parents. Okay, but although my parents can be related to many children, so that is one to many. But now when you look at from my point of view, I can only be related to one, which is a one to one. Okay, but now for them it is a one to many because one set of parents can have many children. Okay, there is also another one called many to many. and let's say students and courses. Today, I think the other day, Catherine told us that she was taking also R. The fact that you're taking business intelligence or maybe data science, it does not limit you to not taking another course. Okay? And also, one course, which is business intelligence, can be taken by many students. But you as a student, you are not limited to taking one course. So it means that if you're standing from the student perspective, I'm a student, I can take many courses. If you're standing in the course perspective, I'm a course, I can be taken by many students. So that is a many-to-many relationship. So, and that is how you get a many-to-many. But also, and that is what we have here. That is what we have here. A product and a location. One product can be supplied in many locations. One location can receive many products. Okay? So in most cases, many-to-many relationship happens when you have two parent tables. Two parent tables. So you can't say that you have two children tables and you have a many-to-many relationship. No. Or maybe one parent and a child table. No, it doesn't happen that way. So in most cases, it is parent to parent. That is how you get a many-to-many relationship. Yes. Yes, product and locations are parent table. That is why I've said one product can be supplied in many locations and one location can receive many products. So it is a many-to-many. Now, if you have a many-to-many, you can't work with those tables. You create another table inside called a pivot table. And that pivot table, in our case, it's what we refer to as a fact table. A good example is this. In families nowadays, a husband and a wife can stay together only because of the children. Sindio? For them, they have no issues. They have a lot of issues, I mean. But now they're saying, let's stay in this relationship only because of the children. So there are many relationships or there are many issues they set aside and now they focus on the children. And that is what brings them together. And that is why we have this fact table. Now the fact table is referred to as a pivot table or a join table. So it is a table that is uniting two, or it's standing in between a many-to-many relationship, one, and it is uniting two parent tables. Now, let's do joins. Let's do joins. Now, if I just, how do we do joins in Tableau? Because we're working with SQL. I know we have done SQL. Now, every day I always advocate, I always evangelize SQL. Because SQL is the backbone for data. Easy visualization, you can do them. But if you don't understand SQL, it's a bit tricky for you. So in this case, I have product, I have location. Now I can join these two tables. You see, let me just show you what I did. Let me show you what we did before we even. So these are just the basics. I think my mouse. So let me remove that. Yeah. So previously, this is what we had, Sendio, and I told you we are trying to join different tables. So I had a product table, fact table, and location. But now, if you look at this, imeniletea hapa indata ya products, ndio? It has only given me the product records. Hapa nikiclick fact table ndio inaniletea fact records. And nikiclick location ndio inaniletea location records. So it is like you going it is like money forever. You are in a relationship but kila mtu anakona pesa yake. It's the same. Okay? Don't touch my things. Yes, we have a relationship, but everyone akwena their own stuff. So you see, that doesn't work. That doesn't work in Tableau. It works, yes, but now it's not efficient. So in that case, you need to create now a join. Okay? You need to create a join. Now, how do you create a join? You create a join by clicking on the parent table. Okay, I click on the parent table and I say I have a product table here. Okay, now once I have a product table, now I need to load the child table. The product table tumesema it's a parent table. Now I need to join the child table, and in this case it is the fact table. Now when that happens, you can see it has created something like 2 circles. And this is what we refer to as joins. Okay? The rings are the joins. So in this case, it has created something called an inner join. We also have a left outer join. We also have a right outer join, and we have a full join. So, Catherine, I know you are not in our class. Hizi vitu tuliongelelea yako. Sawa sawa. But sasa juu tunafanya leo, the good thing is that hata hii Power BI ilikuja so that we refreshen our knowledge, and also we just understand before tutarudia. Okay? So what is this?
I'm okay with this. With this, I'm okay.
Oh, sawa.
Yeah.
So what is the inner join? The inner join is taking records that appear in both tables. The left outer join, it's taking records that are in the left table and not in the right table. And in this case, when I speak about the left table, I speak about the products and are not in fact table. The right, the opposite. And the full join, it means take everything. Okay? So in most cases, we'll be doing the inner join, whereby I want records in both tables. Now, when I just look at that, it means that ukiangalia sasa hii table yenye imecreatiwa hapa chini, you can see now I have product details. Okay? I have now one full table containing all the records. Sawa. Guys, we haven't hit the objective of today's class, imagine. I just wanted us to download and install Power BI. We see how it looks. And then tomorrow I'm still pondering on Tableau. I don't know. No one has told me that they have. So Catherine has said that she doesn't have space, so she will see, she'll watch. Hannah, have you installed? Because this is ideally your class. You really need it. Still far? It has finished downloading? Okay. Why? So let's go on. So by that, I've created a join, and I've joined the left table to the right table, or maybe I've joined tables, records that appear in both tables. And now I can load now my location. Now also in the location, I'm performing an inner join. So now by this, it means that all my records, now you can see there is a location. Where is location? Yeah, location is here. So you can see that there is location near Colorado, which is in Central America or something like that. Okay. So until I perform this, I haven't created any relationship in between. So by me performing this, that is why if you look keenly, it is on top of this. Here we were just dropping tables. We didn't create any relationship, though it is telling us that there's a relationship in between here. But we can only create this by now bringing the joins on top of it. It's when now we get one single table. And that is how we have product, fact ID, a fact table, and location table. So if I click on another sheet, what happens? I have now more. How many the same? Oh yeah, it's the same. Okay, but now I have identified now my relationships. Oh, my laptop is shutting down. Okay, now any question up to there on loading your data? I think these are the basics. These are the things you need to know when you load your data or you load your records. Pardon?
I think he sent the record.
Okay. Now, let's look at another data source. I think let me just finish on this data uploading. And I think here I have a very dirty data source. It's not clean at all. And I think it's, yeah, the data interpret demo. This one. If you looked at it, you might have seen how disorganized it is. I don't know if you have an access of the data interpret demo. And this now it's an ideal scenario when it comes to us. And if anyone has ever worked with ODK, they can attest even ndio mtu kupewa data. Okay, so I don't know. Oh, I think I'm sharing the wrong screen. So if you look at this data interpret demo, this is how it looks. Yeah, it's in an Excel sheet. It's an Excel sheet. So if you look at this, you have here now a very unclean data. You have a very unclean data. Now you can see these details were prepared by this person. Akakuja kaandika huku thanks, note, akaeka note yake. They left a few columns here, okay? Cells also. And you can realize that how unclean this data is. So let's learn a few tricks of cleaning your data as you load it into Tableau. So how do you clean your data? And there is something called an interpreter. Is it? No. We are cleaning with Tableau. Yeah, we are cleaning with Tableau. Okay. There is something called a data interpreter in Tableau. So previously, I think Catherine, you can address this. In the old.
Sorry, Leon, I can't hear you.
Okay. Is it me who has? Oh, ni mimi. Okay. I don't know where I got disconnected. Okay, I was saying this, that previously, so this is some example of data and unclean data. Okay, so previously, or maybe the first versions of Tableau, how it worked is that it didn't have this feature of cleaning your data. Okay, so Tableau tries a way in which it can clean your data to the closest cleanable it can get to. It doesn't mean that it will clean totally, because if I say that Sandra is male, this data it's not correct. Sandra can never be male, because on the master record she was female. That is why we never work with the master records. Okay, so it means that if Sandra is hapo mtu amesema male, Tableau will not tell you that now because you put here male, now it's supposed to be female. That is beyond. Okay, those are what we call the logical errors. So at some level, Tableau tries to handle for you the syntax errors, or maybe the most visible error. Just venye editor zetu, the VS Code, all those editors that you know, they try to handle for you the syntax error. That's why they give you the red lines, they give you the error messages on the terminal and things like that, but it can't handle the logical error. So that is the same way with Tableau, whereby this data, first of all, it will load it. It will load it into Tableau, the way it is. Then you will tell it to clean. So let's see how that works. Now there is a component called the data interpreter. So you can see, okay, today I'm not sharing my entire screen because I have a lot of things I opened in my work environment. So that is why I'm shifting in between screens. So I don't want to lose them. I didn't save. So when you load it, you can see that the same thing you saw in that Excel file is the same thing that you're going to see here. Okay, you can see the first column. You can see okay, testing, question mark, null, by Robert, thanks. The same things. Note, hadi kuna note imekuja hapa. Also, when you look at the data type, the data type here at the top, we say that Tableau displays for you here the data types. So the data type here at the top, yes, it is giving you the ID. Hata ijakupea the column names. It's showing you F1, F2 until F13. No column names. So this data we can't work with this set of data. Even if I try to load it up kwa another sheet, itanikujia tu na F1 mpaka F13. So I don't know what this F1s and this F13 is. So in order to do that, there is something here called the use data interpreter. Previously, so they're telling you that data interpreter might be able to clean your workbook. It might be able. So it's not 100% sure. Sindio? Okay. Now, if I check use data interpreter, it will load. Not the difference. Nikian check inanirudishia the default one. Sindio? But the moment I say use the data interpreter, it's going to clean my records. So it will clean it to the closest correct format. Last name. Ni mimi ndio napotea ama ni nani? Okay. How did it know? How did it know that F1, so F3, the column name is first name, last name. Mbona ingechukua Joe, Henderson, and all that? I'm not trying to win you over Power BI. But we'll see. Now this is where now difference comes in. This is now where you see the difference, okay? Of how you can use the blue mechanism, how intelligent they are making it, okay? It's some sort of AIs and machine learning activities. And you remember, I think I told you that using the natural language processing, NLP, okay? So there is something called natural language processing, which they have tried to use to make that they know, okay? So that is why zinakuja kwa the first, kwa hiyo zinakuja na hii as the column names. So, and also see, angalia hapa, hii column haina title, sindio? This column doesn't have a title. And number two, if you look at our original data source, on the sales part, hapo penye wanasema sales amount, kuna $sign, kulikuwa na $sign. But now this one, it's only coming in numbers. Okay? So it's trying to clean as possible so that kusikue na different currency in the same column. So that is how we get the use interpreter. So once you do that, it will clean for you to the nearest correct value possible. But now in this section, we need a way in which you don't need to work with the F1. So, and now that is where we get, where do we hide? Kuna kitu hapa inaitwa hide. If you just right click on this column, it will tell you hide. And that is how we have now a clean table. So that is how we do cleaning in Tableau. But now you can use now Python scripts also in Tableau. We shall reach there, hopefully, to clean your data. Now, so having said that, you can also see how it cleans. So if I just click review the results. This one, review the results. It will open for me in an Excel sheet. It will give me an Excel sheet. So let me just stop sharing and share that other screen. I have confidential information in my computer today. So in this section, it has, the moment you click that Excel sheet, it will give you this. It will give you this. And now here it's telling you the steps it took to clean your records. So it's telling you the key for data interpreter. And now if you click the demo, it is showing you even the records zako zilikuwa. Mona, hii ndio ulinipea. This is what you gave me. But now I began now cleaning. Okay? And this is what now, ukiona hapa penye kuna red, it's what it settled on the columns. So it said that it removed this part na hii part ya juu. So it settled on the red as the titles, one, and now data as this section. That is why it's having the red and the green. So that is what we refer to as the data interpreter. So we use the data interpreter to clean your records, and we can also use Python scripts. And we can also now do our manual cleaning. So those are the 3 levels of cleaning when it comes to Tableau. Yeah. I think I'm stopping there with Tableau. Anyone with a question? Okay, let's touch on Power BI kidogo. Let's touch on Power BI kidogo alafu we stop our class. You always stop at 7:30, but today I'll ask for your 10 minutes so that anyway, they are my 10 minutes. I always release you early. Okay, so I know we have covered a huge ground in terms of Tableau, but we haven't begun visualizing, because I just needed you to understand how you load your data, all that process, and then tomorrow we are now beginning on visualizing. So we'll begin on creating charts, doing maps, field maps, histograms, bars in bars, stacked bars. Okay, so all those we're going to do with the data source that we have. And we shall also be doing Power BI. Now, this is how Power BI looks. So for those who, okay, I know we haven't installed, but this is how Power BI looks. It's also subscription based. Okay, but if you love beautiful visualization or maybe a beautiful interface, this might not be for you. Because you can see how, first of all, how they differ when it comes to the presentations. Okay, on top of here, you could have seen this one. It's more of Excel sheet. It's more of an Excel sheet. It's not, when you work with this, you might confuse that you're working with an Excel sheet, but in real sense, you're working with a visualization tool. Okay, so here it's where you do all those stuffs, you insert. Okay, you can see all the features, or most of the features zenye ziko kwa Excel ziko hapa, instead of now getting records or maybe getting your data from different data sources. Yeah, okay. Now, here also it's giving you how to add or how to connect to different data source. Yeah, it's just giving you a sample. Alafu hapa sasa kuna different types of visualization. Remember when you're doing with the Power BI or with Tableau, I tend to interchange oftenly. When you're dealing with Tableau, also they had their own charts, ndio? Nakumbuka hapo kwa Max, but also on the top right, hapa juu, there was something like, what was it? On the top right kulikuwa na nini? Show me. Hapo
It's
kwa
written show me.
yes, on the show me section. There was also some other visualization that you can use, which are maps and all things. But now here in Tableau, in Power BI, they have clustered them together where you get everything at once. Okay? So we'll see there are some similarities and there are some differences, but also we'll see which ones it's a bit to use when it comes to different kinds of scenarios. Okay? An example is this. Let's try to connect to our data source. Hapa kwa data source. You can see also Power BI iko na its own. Acha ni click hapo hiyo ifungue kabisa. Okay, hapo kwa get data. That's where you connect to your data source, get data. Now remember in Tableau, we had connect to your data source on the left side, ndio? It was on the left, where you could connect to file system databases, you could connect to an online server, you could connect to different database management systems. But the fact that we have an Excel sheet, this is where now we begin. Connect to a data source. Okay. Now, when you connect, it gives you a list of data sources that you can connect to. So here we have all. When you want all your isn't categories. So if you want a file system database, you have this. Okay. So these are file system databases. So you know the categories of databases we were speaking about. Okay. Then we have now the electronic databases. Zile zenye tunajua, the TBMS and the non-relational databases. So zote ziko hapa. Hata sijaisikia Impala. Impala kumbe ni database. Okay? So you can see we have a range of databases that you can work with. We also have PostgreSQL. So when we are learning PostgreSQL, we are not learning something outside our scope when it comes to data. We are within our scope. Okay? So we have the SQL Server database, we have the IBM, we have the Oracle Access database. Now, this is now the difference. Nakumbuka Access, it was in the file system. Whether Access ilikuwa kwa file system kweli? Huku kwa Tableau Access ilikuwa wapi? Yeah, ilikuwa kwa file database. Connect to a file. Sindio? But now when it comes to Power BI, it is considered as a database. That is why we have here Access. So you can connect to MariaDB. Now, hata ni vizuri nimeiona hapa. MariaDB is like Postgres. It's the lightweight version of Postgres. So MariaDB, if you have time, you can just go and look at it. So there is some similarities when it comes to MariaDB and hapa kwa database, in this section, database. We have Power Platform. Okay, we have the Power Platform and we have the Power BI data source. So if you have your Power BI data source, let's say you have pushed your data source online, you can connect to here, through here. We have Azure. Now Azure, it's an enterprise. Azure, they charge you per use and per hour. It's an enterprise something. We have online services. Okay, I think we have an ODBMS. So we have also Salesforce. I don't know if you've ever heard about Salesforce, but it's one of the tools that is currently being widely used. Okay, so you can connect even to Salesforce and use it directly. We have QuickBooks. So I know you have learned, most of us here have learned QuickBooks. So we are still in the same NNE. So we have a list even things that you probably Power BI did not allow you to connect to. Sijui ka ilikuwa allow connect kwa Salesforce. Okay, I don't know if you have ever about Twilio. So you can see how many data sources you can connect to. Okay. Now, this is now the point where I wanted us also to see. Here you can write R scripts. And you can write Python scripts. You can connect to ODBC. What is ODBC? What is ODBC? If you've ever heard about it, ODBC. Aye, so we can research on that then. So we can research on the ODBC, but in most cases you'll find yourself using the ODBC, especially if you're doing ODKs and the COBO, you might have an interest on this, on the ODBC, okay? So just in your own free time, just have a look at that. You can also connect to your data on the web. There is something called the web scraping, okay? You can do web scraping also here directly and get your records. Pop. Now, these are the different data sources that you can connect to. So let's just connect to an Excel sheet. We see how it works. Okay, so you'll click on the Excel, then you say connect. So this is a live connection. Okay, because you're connecting to your Excel sheet directly. Now, where's this data? On the downloads. So you go to the downloads. Oh no, I go, not you. Then hii data source yangu inaitwa Tableau data file. Then I can collect company compliance or customer compliance. Okay, nita load. So the moment I load, Tableau will give me in sheets. Nakumbuka pia Power BI, you connect. You see, when you connect with Power BI, you connect to a specific sheet. If you're not doing joins, you go to a specific sheet. The same way it's here. So I'll come and check that. Okay. So when I check that, Tableau, Jesus, Power BI does this. So it gives you two options. It gives you the transform data, one that will allow you to clean your data, or it tells you if you know your data is clean, load it. So that is the difference. Either you you transform your data to a clean data, or maybe you connect, you load it directly. So here, if I come to clean transform, itanipoparia up some Excel sheet. Mwone screen yangu. Oh, so let me hide a few things then. Okay. So let me repeat that process again. Not now. Let me repeat this process again. This card changes. So we've said we connect to a data source. So you click there. So you connect to an Excel sheet, then you click connect. Okay. So I click on consumer compliance, then I display. So when I display, it's telling me to load my data. But if I check this, it's asking me to transform my data or maybe load. So if it is clean, I load. If it is not clean, I transform. Now, when I click transform, what happens is that it gives me an Excel sheet. Excel sheet ya kawaida ile tu. And this is where now I can clean my data. Okay. Now, because of time, let's save this for for our next classes. Okay, so we are not learning to clean our data, but now things you can see here, choose columns. You can choose the columns you want. You can remove columns. Okay, you can keep rows, you can remove rows. So it is just like, you see what Tableau does for us when you click interpret. So for you, you come and do it here. Yes. So that is clear. Then after you have cleaned all your data, because we'll do this anyway, you come and clean and say close and apply. That. So when you close and apply, it will now start retrieving the records based on whatever you cleaned. And once you have loaded the records, ukiangalia hapa kando, so imeniletea sheet. Hapa kando, it has brought for me sheet. Okay. Now I can click on the product inaniletea as a table. Okay. Naweza click on nini. Sasa unaona the difference now. Here we are not working with dimensions. Unaona venye Tableau it gives you two things. It gives you the dimensions and the measures. So here you have to choose for yourself. Okay. So you can see every time I load it, itakuja ikiweka juu ingine. So you can see the same thing we achieved in Tableau is the same thing you're trying to achieve in Power BI. So time response, submitted via, date received, things like that. So hizo ndio zitakuja tu. Naona. So you can see I'm trying to achieve the same table in Power BI.
You click close and apply automatically.
So okay, so here we have different visualizations. So no, in Tableau, in Power BI, if I click on visualization, it unrelated the visualization to Kwanzaa. Okay, so it gives you the visualization, then it asks you to load the data. Unlike in Tableau, whereby you have to begin with your data. So it's a bit reverse process. You have to begin with your data for you to get accurate information. So that is just a few differences when it comes to Power BI and Tableau. But now the good thing, that is why we are doing both. You know, the first plan we had is that you either choose you're doing Power BI or you choose you're doing Tableau. So that was the plan. So if you want Power BI or Tableau, so you stick with your path. But now we thought that there is no need for you saying you're business intelligence specialist and then you don't know. You only know Tableau. It doesn't reach much gain. So we shall keep on diving into this. So I think I'm stopping at that point, unless anyone has a question about how Power BI looks like, or maybe you want me to do something. Anyone with a question? Catherine, are you okay with whatever we have done?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. So Solomon, you're good?
He'll repeat the process again the next year.
Solomon, are you there?
He's responded on chat.
Okay. So what's yeah. So Anna, today seems strange. So you'll just remain a few minutes behind, Anna, so that we discuss on a few things. Okay. So for the rest, I think we can just make sure you have been downloaded and installed Power BI, because but they will be doing them concurrently. I don't want to specify that we'll be doing Tableau alafu Power BI. Sindio? It's better what do you think, guys? Do we do them concurrently, or maybe we just do Power BI iishe alafu turudi tuanze Tableau?
Tableau is an expert. Take your time with Power BI. What else should I do?
Yeah, because we have 14 days for each. We have 14 days for each. So what do you guys think? And I know Tableau, it's a bit, because we downloaded on Friday, it means we have 3 days already. Yeah. So do we do it concurrently, or maybe, what is your take?
It is meant for the same.
I have an interesting suggestion.
Yes, please.
We can do both concurrently in a way to show the difference.
Yes.
By if probably we are doing the charts on Tableau, and then we look at how do you do it in Power BI.
Power BI.
Then it will mean we are moving at almost the same pace for both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Solomon, what is your take? Cynthia, what do you think?
I think concurrently is not bad.
It's not bad, but it's also not good. It's not bad, but it's also not good. Okay. Anyway, what is bad? Maybe it's not bad.
So I think we can try doing.
Maybe. Solomon, just go ahead.
Maybe we can try the concurrently.
Yeah.
But it will also cause some challenges here and there. But at least we can try doing it as we compare between the two softwares, which might assist us maybe to understand the softwares in a better way and to differentiate between them. Because I guess some companies use Power BI, and the others, and we have the others that use the Tableau.
Yeah, true. Okay, Anna.
Yeah, but I also think that most of the company prefer to use Power BI.
Yeah, true.
Because of the fact that it is free. It doesn't require maybe any license, so I think it's a good one.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that is why for those who have tried using Tableau, will end up, because for me, my personal preference is always Tableau. Honestly, without any doubt. Though I train both, but my personal preference is always that. So because I've tested it, I know what it can do. I know how sweet its visualization is. So and that is why they're charging for it. So it's more of an enterprise, okay? So I think that is the reason. So we'll do concurrently. I don't know, but if I go very fast, you just stop me, because sometimes I get carried away with the passion. So yes, we stop at that point. So see you tomorrow at 6. An online class, no physicals. So at 6. So we shall do probably an hour or so. So it's not going to be a long class because it's a makeup or something. Oh, and I'll be sharing the links of the class. So I'll be the one creating the classes. So Amatu, before we drop, just share. I think I can create the link right now. I can create the classes right now because I know we don't have it. So tomorrow and Wednesday, because we don't. I know we don't have that. It be. So. I don't have your emails. Emails are not popping up here. Solomon, I have yours. Cynthia. Is it Cynthia Njao 98?
Yeah, it's that one.
Okay. So Catherine, yours it's CM.
Kate works.
Kate. No, I don't have yours, so you can just share.
KATEWEX
Oh, yeah,
for xylophone.
I have it. Thank you. And finally, oh, your name? Collins. Collins Wako. Okay. And then we have the Anna. I need yours. Anna. Okay. So good. Okay. So I've sent the I didn't set the time. So I didn't set the time, so I'm setting the time to 6. 6 to 7. So probably we might span a few minutes, but hopefully it's not bad. Anyway, so hopefully you've received the links now. Anyone was not received? So I think that is the end from my side. So see you tomorrow. Oh, Anna.
Thank you, Leon. Good night.
Okay, good night.
Yes.
Leon, sorry, I needed to ask something.
Yes.
I need your number. Or how do I get hold of you?
Okay, it's Cynthia. Oh, our number. Okay.
Yes, your number.
Okay, I think I'm writing it here.
Okay.
3642. Yeah, so that is my number.
Okay, I'll reach out in terms of the SQL.
Yeah, it's okay, no problem.
Okay.
So the rest of you now you can drop. I'm only remaining with Anna. Yeah. So Anna,
Yes.
how I know you're beginning internship on.
Yeah. Next month.
Oh, yeah. It's not this Monday or it's next month.
Yeah, it's next month.
On
1st July.
1st July, which is on
The beginning of July.
a Thursday.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so are you beginning with using the tools or probably not?
Uh-huh. I was told to get familiar with Power BI, and then yeah, they'll teach the rest.
Okay, so
Mhm.
okay. So that is what I wanted to know.
Okay.
So I know by when we need to be done.
Okay.
So is this just that Power BI or you are doing the business intelligence complete?
I think I talked with George. He advised I do the complete one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Welcome. Thank you too.
Okay, so I'll see you.